Could I? I could pull John Cena.
Are you sure about that?
Hey everybody, hope you're doing really well today. We just hit 9K on this channel, and I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who's been liking, subscribing, commenting, doing anything to support the channel. It really means a lot.
Thank you.
We're going to take a look at some TikToks today and talk about them.
Let's talk about this, but first, roll the clip.
I'd like to hear some opinions on this video. It's a clip from a John Cena interview with Howard Stern, so it's pretty crude. But the comment over it says, "For everyone who likes to think John Cena is a good person, he did this."
Would you ever a fat chick?
Absolutely. I believe it or not, there was an instance not too long ago where I hit the 280 mark.
Let me get this. International wrestling superstar John
Absolutely.
Cena took home a 280-pound
She
chick.
took me home. I didn't take her home.
Were you attracted to her?
Absolutely, and the experience was great.
She have a nice face?
She had a nice smile.
Why did you do that? I don't understand.
Well, first it was kind of a challenge set out to me by the entire roster, and it was like it was a thing where you won't do it. Okay, I'll do it, but it wasn't like
She approached you
okay,
and said,
I'll
"Listen."
do it. It wasn't like okay, I'll do it. Tail between my legs, going over there. I said, not only will I do it, I'll enjoy it, and I did. It was a great night.
And what was great about when a 280-pound girl takes her clothes off? That's a shockaroo.
Howard, lights on, everything good. No lights off. No. This has to be done. I'm getting out of here. Lights on. It was a great
You
experience.
saw the fat. You saw it jiggling.
I saw a whole lot of women. Absolutely.
And I bet it was good because she
It was
grateful.
great. It was great. Yeah, indeed.
And you had to pull up the flaps of skin to get to.
It was. You gotta know your way around.
You're a real man.
Yeah.
I definitely cringed a few times through that, but not really because of John Cena, definitely because of Howard Stern. He's the one expressing clear disgust and trying to get John to be disrespectful. I've heard people say they want to know what it's like to be with XYZ type of person, how I would feel if I was the girl being discussed here. So I'd like to hear some other opinions. Does it seem like he did something wrong, or does this seem pretty standard for hookup culture? Also, I want to add that this was from 2006, just for some context.
Howard Stern repeatedly attempted to bait John Cena into being consistently fatphobic. But John Cena sat there and had his "she's all that" moment. This started as a bet, but then I realized that it was amazing. And it's absolutely hilarious to me. Like, I watched that clip, and the first thing that comes to my mind is I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I could pull John Cena.
Are you sure about that?
Okay, jokes aside from all of that, absolutely he does not get any credit. That entire interview tells me that he probably would not date a fat woman, but he absolutely enjoys sleeping with them, which is problematic on its own, but in a weird way, it's like the lowest end of the problematic, because he had every opportunity to be disrespectful. Howard Stern was baiting him into being disrespectful, baiting him into joining him in dehumanizing fat women, and every single time John Cena was like, they're people. He was like, she was this woman with confidence and she pulled me. You like sidestepped the "she has a pretty face" trope, said she had a nice smile, but like could have just said she was beautiful. And then when Howard Stern was like, but all the fat though, you were like, yeah, you gotta know your way around a woman if you want to have a good time.
So when the are we going to destigmatize binge eating issues in the fat activist body positive community?
I heard the jury's still out on science.
Because it seems like the conversation around fat people with eating is centered on atypical, which, yeah, it's really important for people to acknowledge that fat people can have restrictive eating disorders. But there seems to be this huge stigma and silence admitting that for a lot of people with binge eating, they are also fat. And in fact, it's possible their binge eating disorder contributed to their fatness. I know that's the case for me, and I would really like to be able to talk about that and be honest about that without it suddenly like invalidating my space in the fat activist community.
Oh yeah, my name is Bob Kelso and I like whore. Now, why don't I introduce myself like that? Because there is a time and a place for the truth.
I was pretty surprised to see this content from an activist in this space. It's more honest than most of what we see on here, and she's actually taking a risk and going off script, which we hardly ever see. It's usually just a bunch of feeding the echo chamber. But there's a lot being said if you're taking a risk by acknowledging that binge eating on and off your entire life may have contributed to your weight gain and current weight struggles. That sounds like common sense. And when common sense is a disqualifier, that's a pretty big red flag. Maybe you should question if this is even the audience or group you want to keep contributing to. And this is a really good example of how the dogma of fat activism is actively harmful to its own overweight community. One of the unquestionable tenets of fat activism is that our body size isn't actually in our control. We hear it over and over again in these TikToks.
Your weight is almost as heritable as your height. This means your body size can be 70% determined by genetics.
Just like your height, the biggest determining factor of your body size is genetic.
So why is it so wild to think that you also probably know someone who's fat but eats very little and exercises a lot?
So of course your fellow fat activists don't want to talk about how overeating contributes to weight gain. And as far as I can tell, recovery serves one purpose here. You wield your former relationship with food as a shield between you and your current relationship with food and call it recovery. And as long as your current relationship isn't restrictive in any way, you can be part of the club. So tell me where recovering from binge eating could possibly fit in here. You can't acknowledge that eating surplus calories has an effect on your body, and you can't restrict food without being accused of participating in disordered eating behavior. So it seems like your only options here are embrace your binge eating as your body's natural intuitive wisdom or be shunned.
You can't sit with us!
And this is supposed to be liberation from the oppression of diet culture. This next video is all captions, starting with, "Fact, the pursuit of thinness in our culture is not related to beauty or health. It's related to female obedience," she says. "Keep women small, keep women distracted, keep women occupied. When we take up space and stop dieting, we reclaim our power." And this is equally as annoying as the "can't smash the patriarchy on an empty stomach" video that we saw a couple weeks ago. Also, how does this theory account for men at all? I know intersectionality exists, but everything isn't about smashing the patriarchy, at least not in my life. And when you're trying to teach people legitimate science-backed diet or exercise information, you don't have to lean on encouraging people to dismantle social structures in order to convince them of what you're saying. She wants you to follow along for more intuitive eating advice, but what eating advice was actually given here? And most of her page is similar in theme, just don't obey diet culture or the patriarchy and the rest will work itself out kind of vibes. Or this is a good one. How to start eating healthier in 15 seconds. Eat more unhealthy foods. Duh, because reverse psychology. And for whatever reason, people will actually pay for a course from this person and think that they're being anti-diet culture, which is on par with these other fat liberation BOPO activists selling courses like Body Positivity University or personal fat liberation consultations. Imagine thinking Weight Watchers is predatory, which it probably is, but simultaneously thinking you're some kind of legend because you sell classes to people where you basically just say, keep doing what you've been doing, but stop feeling guilty about it or the patriarchy wins.
What is this, a crossover episode?
Before we end the video, I wanted to hear some opinions of Kim Kardashian losing 16 pounds in a month to fit in Marilyn Monroe's dress for the Met Gala. She wore the infamous "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" dress, and of course was not allowed to alter it at all to preserve the historical value, so she had to lose weight to fit in it. And I'm starting to see criticism pop up about how this is setting a bad example for the young girls who look up to her. But she compared it to a movie star getting physically ready for a role, and I think that's pretty fair. I'm wondering what is meaningfully different about Kim basically trying to embody Marilyn Monroe for an evening and someone like Jason Momoa getting ready to play Aquaman for a movie. She makes a living doing this just the same as he does, so it doesn't really seem like a fair criticism to me. She didn't say everyone should starve to fit the clothes they want to fit. That dress is one of a kind, designed for Marilyn Monroe. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We're gonna end with a weight loss progress. This one is another really wild one. He started off at 687 pounds, and he documented so much of his journey on TikTok, including his initial anxiety issues with going to the gym, and even different things people said to him at the gym. He's under 300 pounds right now, so he's lost about 400 pounds total. And it even looks like his girlfriend joined him on the weight loss journey and lost about 100 pounds herself, and they actually just got engaged. Just tell me that I can and show you things that you couldn't. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought about the video down below. If you enjoyed it, let me know by giving it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm working on the logical fallacy video right now and a couple others, so I'll have a new video up in a few days. Before I get off here, I wanted to say thanks to everyone who left me personal messages under my last video. I really appreciated them. I hope everyone has something to look forward to this week. If you want to share what it is, leave me a comment down below about it. I'll be back in a few days. Take care until then.
A bacon strip? Sorry. Good boy, Sid. Good boy.